Hello, today I'm recording an activation, and this will be a container of light language that's going to be brought in, of codes to help release enmeshments and cords. We are at a time in our collective consciousness that we have the ability to release contracts that we've made with other beings of light before we ever came here to have different kinds of experiences. And some good, some that felt amazing, some that don't feel amazing. But regardless of what they are, when we come into contact with someone that we've made a contract with before, when we were still only in spirit form, before we came down into physical form, we made all these agreements, we made all these contracts with other souls that would be here in this lifetime to, when you came into contact with them, that they would trigger you in some way, that they would trigger you to have an emotion, to have an experience, either for both of your own growth. And I don't like to call them lessons, I just like to call them experiences, because that's what we're doing here. We're experiencing, we're creating all the time. We're creating God and goddesses here in human form. We are the divine incarnated here in the physical form, and we've come here to create. So when we create with another being, when we do that, we actually have cords of attachment that attach. They're energetic cords. I actually see them as energetic cords that attach from both parties. Those attachments, when emotions are also involved, which obviously emotions are always involved when you're triggered by someone or something or some experience, those create wavelengths that have atoms of energy within them that are sticky. And so not only am I seeing like cords of attachment, but I see like actual enmeshments of energy. It's almost like a sheet of energy, of entanglement between the two spirits. But what we have the opportunity to do now, because frequencies are shifting, levels of consciousness, levels of energy are shifting so quickly, we have the ability to now release all contracts and all agreements that we made prior to coming here. And this is amazing. And of course we when we understand this, we really want to do this. Reason being is because when you're trying to ascend to a higher level of understanding, to a higher level of consciousness, so when I see higher levels of consciousness, it's just like you're walking up a ladder and you have a broader awareness of what's happening. And so as you're trying to walk up the ladder, the more of these cords, entanglements, enmeshments that you have with these other souls, they kind of keep you tethered and keep pulling you back down to lower streams of consciousness, to lower levels of being. And it's not the other person's fault at all. That was a combined effort on both parties to make that connection, to make that enmeshment. And so what we would like to do today, we've got a lot of galactic beings here. We've got Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael here. What we would like to do today is to begin to invite you to release the entanglements with friends, with past partners, parents, brothers and sisters, with your children, to release the entanglements and the enmeshments that keep you from being a sovereign being of light. When I did this with my own children, it went through stages. I felt immense grief at first, especially when I entangled from my oldest son, who I've had many incarnations with. But what I saw the other side of that, after I came through the grief, I knew that we were going to reach a level of sovereignty that would be so freeing for us both, that would accelerate our own individual growth exponentially. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to still be in the same soul family. It doesn't mean that I'm not still his mother. It doesn't mean that he's not still my son, that I'm still not going to guide him. It means that within that structure, that what I do as an individual soul here doesn't affect him anymore. He's allowed to walk on his own path. What he does doesn't have to affect me anymore. I'm allowed to walk on my own path. He's allowed to walk on his own path, so that we can ascend, so that we can change, so that we can grow and experience life freely without feeling the weight, the burden of another. We're not supposed to operate like that. You can't take on someone else's pain and lift them up at the same time. It doesn't work like that. It just lowers your own frequency. And so what we're doing by releasing these cords, by releasing the enmeshments, these sheets of energy that are covering us over, what we're doing with that is freeing up all of us, all these beings of light, to walk along their own path. So that's what we're going to do today. And you might have to watch this a few times. Yeah. So we're going to be bringing in different light codes. And what these light codes do, they're super high frequencies of light that will come through my voice, and it might come through in toning. It might come through, it sound like actual kind of like language. And they're just frequency, they're codes that will go into the DNA that will help release these bonds, bring light into the DNA and reactivate it. And that it's really a good way to help release the enmeshment, those sheets of energy that I see that are like all entangled like this. So it's not just the cords that we're releasing, but we're releasing the actual enmeshments. And I don't know how else to explain it except to be like, it's like sheets of energy waved into their sheets of energy, waved into your sheets of energy. So it actually covers like broad areas of you. So these key codes kind of come in there and they just kind of bust that up and open up your DNA strands to really release and stretch back out and bring in more light, to bring in your soul essence into your body. So just kind of follow along, and they're going to guide us. I really have no idea what they're going to do. I'm just going to give myself over and allow myself to be a clear conduit of divine love for you all. All right, so I invite you to take a big breath in. I work with my eyes closed. So take a big breath in through the nose, down to the belly, back up and out through the mouth. I've already called in your teams of light to surround you, to place you inside a sacred container so that you can be sovereign within this collective consciousness of healing that's happening today. I would invite you to always ask for that when you're doing, when you're participating in group work, so you don't become entangled with other people's energy. It's just another way to stay really pure and clean, and that's my intention for you. Ask for everyone's guardian angels and master guides to be present, placing them in a sacred container. And just imagine that there's doors on the bottom of your feet that are falling open, and you're going to send a stream of energy, one from each foot, down into the ground. And they're inviting you to go all the way down to the crystalline core of the new earth. So just imagine, play pretend that you have lines of energy going all the way down, wrapping around the core of the earth. And Mother Earth has her own consciousness. She has her own energy, and she sees what you need as an individual soul here, and she's going to gift you a specific color that's going to come back up. It's coming up into your feet, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips. Filling up your abdomen and your chest, your shoulders, your neck, flowing down your arms, your hands, your head. Archangel Metatron is coming forward. It's kind of interesting. He's actually working on everyone's individual merkabahs. So you're contained in a sphere of light, and you can place your awareness on the sphere of light that you are within. Within the sphere of light is a merkaba. A merkaba is like a triangle facing down and a triangle facing up, and they are supposed to be interconnected, overlapping. But it appears that most of us actually have it separated, and that they are spinning at two different speeds. So the top one, for some of you, is spinning faster than the bottom triangle, or vice versa. And so what he's doing is just kind of bringing those two triangles, realigning them, overlapping them, and adjusting them so that they are rotating at the same speed. And he's doing this so that as we release these enmeshments, this merkaba is going to help spin off the entanglements out of all of your energy fields. And so if you feel a little dizzy, just place your awareness in your heart center. And just concentrate on a golden light of energy within your heart space. And just allow for that golden ball of energy to become bigger. And you're going to begin to pull in more light through the top of your head. We're connecting in to your 14th chakra that lies way up with the divine. Ooh. And so just allow for that to come down to your 13th chakra, down to your 12th chakra, the 11th, which is residing right outside the galaxy, down to the 10th, which is somewhere by the moon, down to the 9th, above your head. Streaming it down through your crown. Down your neck, connecting into your heart space. And what we would invite you to do is to call all those before you. First, we'll start with friends. Friends, ex-lovers, boyfriends, ex-spouses, ex-girlfriends. We call all of them to stand before you. And we honor them. We send them each infinite divine love for playing such an integral part of our journey here, for agreeing to be part of this journey, even if it was painful. We still bring a blessing, and we don't have to necessarily understand the whole contractual agreement that we had, but we can bless it, fully realize it, so that we can completely allow it to dissolve out of our matrix. And so we now command that all contracts, vows, oaths, and agreements with these beautiful souls be completely dissolved, that all cords, Archangel Michael is cutting through, and we're taking out the roots of those cords, pulling out and completely dissolving all tethers and ties that sometimes cords do when someone's really trying to hold on. Just going to pull all of that out. A lot of you have entanglements up on your throat chakra. And so we're just going to begin to allow Archangel Metatron to spin these merkabahs even faster, allowing for the enmeshments with these souls to completely dissolve and disintegrate, completely release, and we're sending all of their energy, all soul fragments back to them. I'm going to bring in some light codes here. The Arcturian light cancel of light is here to help us. The spectrum beings of light are here to assist us. Mother Mary and Jesus. Yena goda hosa hira garabonne sigina haka sira bateshna kasa garabotoranina garaboradishne garabotorishne garadam. And there's nothing you have to do. There's no trying here. It's more of an allowing of the releasing and fully letting go. Allowing yourself to know that the more sovereign you stand in your power, the more sovereign you allow another to stand in their own power. And that it is not your job to uplift another in this way. It creates codependency. It doesn't allow for their own individualized experience and spiritual growth. It can stunt it, and it can stunt yours. And we know that was never your intention. We're just allowing you the recognition that this is what happens. So just allow us to do the untangling for you, to completely hold the intention to release and let go. And there's many of you that can see these light codes coming in. And just observe them. Watch where they go. Watch what they do. Watch how they work in your body. And these codes will remain in your body, and these are codes that you can continue to use on your own time, in your own way. We each have access to these higher dimensional realms, these codes that the divine is so willing to rain down upon us, to work through us. So you may see yourself walking along a path, and these other beautiful souls that you have been in contractual agreements with, they start to fall behind you on that path as you walk forward, or they step off your path and away from your path. But when you look down at your feet on the path that you're walking along, you can see these beautiful codes encoding that golden path, so that everywhere you step, you're bringing light, you're bringing consciousness, you're bringing divine love, understanding. And many of your hands are warming up, and you may feel these codes begin to come out of your hands. It's just energy. You may want to work with them if you see what they're having you do with them, weaving them into your matrix, allowing them to flow outside of your matrix, into surrounding areas, into the room that you're in. And just allow all that to breathe that in. And those people are fully stepping off the path and stepping back. And we honor them, and we thank them, and we bless them. Now we bring forward our ancestors, our mothers, our children. And there's many of these that we've lived many lifetimes with. And so these enmeshments go much deeper. They're going to come off in layers, and that's why you may need to listen to this a few times. Because every lifetime is woven in a little deeper, and we're wanting to fully, for the first time, release all of that out of our complete matrix, out of our structure, right? So that in the next lifetime, if we choose to come here, and if we choose to come here with one of these beautiful beings in our soul family, that we are operating on a much higher level of consciousness, We are experiencing more joy, more love, more divinity in our relationship. And we're gifting them that same experience of sovereignty. And what a gift. What a gift. Like, I can't think of a greater gift you can give a child, besides to allow them to have their own sovereignty and their own experiences here and just be a guide for them. So whoever you're ready for in this present moment to bring forward, you bring them forward now. And we're going to ask for their own teams of light to come forward and to surround them, to uplift them, to protect them. I'm feeling a lot of grief come up, a lot of sorrow, but underneath all of that is joy. And so you may see my eyes watering up and some tears coming out, but ultimately underneath these initial layers of letting go, the lifetimes of pain and of trauma that you've been in together, knowing that that time is done, that those experiences have been fully realized. No matter what atrocities, I've just heard the word atrocities, may have occurred between you both. We're going to just forgive ourselves for any role that we played in it, for any allowing of harm. Forgiveness comes with the self first. And so as we begin to allow for that forgiveness energy to come in and forgive ourselves, our ancestors, which includes our past lives, we can call all of them forward. We can honor the experiences that we've had in each and every lifetime. And let's begin to release the enmeshments, to release the cords, and you're going to see yourself begin to spiral out golden light. We're going to pull in as much golden light as we can. Imagine it coming in through your feet, in through your solar plexus, coming down your head, and you're going to start shooting it out your heart chakra. And all the cords, all the enmeshments, we're empowering you to fill them up with this golden light, completely dissolving them. Honoring them, but dissolving them, all contractual agreements, all vows, oaths, agreements, even the irrevocable ones. We revoke them now with every being. Hiragana sinni hishagorabanana, sihiragalala sinni garabalana groshkini hiraganana skiriharagarada, skiribahiragarada, kirmanagarahatagana, kirmanaga, skirihishkiriharagada. Yiragotona shagahasa girabadada, you might feel a tugging on your spine. A lot of them is interwoven completely in your matrix, they're like woven into your so if you've ever seen fascia, pictures of fascia, it's woven into like all your tissues. It's woven into your DNA. We're opening up, lighting up, just command for all of your energy centers to fully open. We're commanding for all your cells and DNA to fully open. And release. Shakanani se garabarash ne harakata se ne garaboturish ne hirigata se harakatana. Niha garabalish ni germanana se kishu harakata hate se gerbanina se shugrabunana. Jesus is stepping in. He's placing one hand on your back and one hand on your chest. And what he's saying is it's your divine right to be free. You were never meant to co-create so entangled with another. Awakening is about finding your way back to sovereignty. It's through this sovereignty that you know the divine, through knowing the divine within your true self. And your true self is completely different than another's true self. So to release the entanglements is to completely release any false perception of truth you think you know for another. The word truth has been abused, it has been misused. For only you know the initial spark of light that you carry, that arose from the Divine Mother, that arose from the Divine Father. That resides within each one of us. And so it is time, my beloveds, to fully release and realize all entanglements, all enmeshments, all coded encodements. We have been encoded, we have been covered over, been passed down from generation to generation. And so we release those now. If you're ready, fully release those, hand those over to me. I will take them back to the Creator to be healed, to be released. So that you can remember that I am within each one of you. That I too, like you, came from the Divine Mother and the Divine Father. I just remembered it a little sooner than you did. So allow me to lift off the encasement of lies, of confusion, of entanglements that kept this innermost spark of light hidden from experiencing the fullness of the connection to the truth of who you are. Yigarabadora shahana sinni gorbornona hishihiragadana. Yigarabonono shuhisagarabotorishni garadada. And allow the grief to come up. And it's this grief of feeling so lost from your true self throughout so many lifetimes of abuse, of neglect, of this sense of self. Yeah, Gani Sigarshani Garahora Manina, Sahasha Garamanana. Yesaharamano Shinikahana, Sinigo Horabashana, Hase Hiraganana Mona Segiridana. Thank you. Thank you for releasing this out of your matrix. Thank you for lifting this off and out of the earth plane. Thank you. We honor the work. We know it isn't easy. So allow it to come in, embrace it. Allow this light. Allow more of your own soul to come in. As these entanglements are being shifted out or fully released. And we're just spinning this out of your astral body, out of all of your energy bodies, all the way out of your matrix, completely out of your matrix, completely out of their matrix. Keep imagining that golden ball of energy growing bigger and bigger and bigger until you're completely enveloped with it. Till every strand of DNA is lit up like a Christmas tree. Is lit up like a strand of lights. Just to let go. And now imagine a golden ball of energy above your head. And we invite you to call back all the energy that you've ever sent out. Call it all back to you now and placed inside this golden sphere above your head. And your guides are beginning to fully release it, cleanse it, clearing it, blessing it of any other entanglements, any hitchhikers, any enmeshments are being released from it now. And now you're going to allow for this ball of light to come down into your head, your neck, your chest. Pull it all the way down to your root chakra, right to the base of your spine. It's hooking into your spine, and the golden sun is opening up. And all the energy, all your truth is flowing down your legs and your feet and your toes, flowing up your spine and through your abdomen and your chest, your shoulders, down your arms, out your fingers, up your neck and your head. Oh. You may need to move and stretch as it comes back into you. It has a lot more space. Oof. has a lot more space to work in your body now. So just take some deep breaths. And we're going to ask for 100,000 angels to come surround, support, uplift, and protect you today, because you're going to be pretty raw. Anytime you do this, ask for extra support throughout the day, because you've created a lot of space. And anytime we remove these entanglements, anytime we do deep clearings, you always want to bring in more of your own light. You can infuse rainbow energy, golden light, making any repairs, asking these angels to repair anywhere things were released from your energy fields, repairing any rips or holes or tears. Oh, that was a lot of energy. You're going to want to listen to this a few more times. You can turn it on. I'm burping. Anytime I start really getting down deep to energy, I start burping or yawning, or I start moving or whatever. So don't mind me. Everybody has different ways of releasing energy. But thank you. Your team's going to be taking care of you for the next 48 hours. Drink a lot of water. You might want to drink some electrolytes and anything else. So, again, my name's Erica Van Eaton. You can find me at ericavanEaton.com. I have a lot of different activations that they record through me. It's like a lot of toning for your DNA. Different kinds of toning for your DNA. Different beings bring it through in my shop, or any way that I can support you. I would love to do that. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you really enjoyed this, and I love you, and thank you for doing this work.